Okay, today's vintage toy and repair video is going to be on Robot A Resorte, which was again by Paya in Spain in, I'm guessing, late 60s, early 70s. The interesting thing about this particular robot is it's both wind-up and battery operated. The wind-up mechanism is for making it move, the feet, shells move, the arms move, and for running a flasher switch, and the two batteries are for lighting the lights in the head, which then flash on and off as it's running. And again, the hard part of repairing these type of toys is the fact that when they were put together, the body halves were glued together. So it takes a great deal of time to very carefully cut along the glue seam and open them up. And as with the other Paya robot that we did, the TV robot, the thing that normally is going to break is in this case, the wind-up gearbox frame. It's metal. It's held onto the front of the body by just 4 little thin plastic pins, and they're very, very small, like pencil head size pins, which they'd run through the metal frame and then melt the ends over. And that's what would hold it in there. Well, those break. And of course, once that breaks, then everything is free to move around and jostle around in there. The wind-up motor runs very well on its own. It's underpowered for trying to move this massive robot. And we'll go into more details. I have pictures on the computer. I'll show you the insides and how all of it works and everything, and what's going on there. And one other problem is that modern batteries are slightly larger in diameter and slightly longer. And this is the wind-up key. And they fit in here, but the steel metal box that they go in isn't very forgiving. It's very difficult to wedge those batteries in there, and it'd be almost impossible to force them in without breaking something loose from the body frame. You have to be very careful. Again, it'd be better just to probably use dollar store batteries because they're slightly smaller. They're basically like vintage 60s batteries. So over here is the switch that turn on for the power to the upper lights, and you have to use a long wind-up key to reach into the wind-up crank to get things going. So you move that on, and you've got 3 lights up in the astronaut's face, and I don't know how much I need to wind it up to get things going, but basically you can see how the lights are going to flash on and off when that runs. Like I say, it being underpowered, it's very hard for it to move the robot. Maybe I just need to wind it up more, but don't expect much. It's the wind-up mechanism isn't really all that it should be for this much robot. So you get the idea. Let it unwind here. It's not the kind of thing you'd want to play with all the time because you just end up breaking it. Once it gets unwound enough, we'll take a look and I'll show you what's going on inside. Let's turn the lights off. I'll move it towards that so if it decides to go, it doesn't hit anything. So over here on the computer, it's so this is your inner frame that's inside the toy. These 2 white wheels here are the ones that are driven by the spring mechanism, which I'll show you in the next picture. And the friction rub against the large wheels, which then drive the robot forward. So every now and then when I had this one wound up all the way and you heard something slipping, like a clunking sound, it's not the wind-up mechanism. That's in very good shape and condition. That'd be when these wheels are slipping against these plastic wheels here. And here we are on the back side. You can see the wind-up mechanism, and here you can see the on-off switch for the lights, and a little better view of how the wheels on the wind-up system simply rub against the lower wheels. It's a very poorly designed, inexpensive toy. And another view showing a little higher, that this mechanism that they bolted to this plate that they made was actually designed to be used in some other toy, because right here you have upright standoffs like you would normally see on a toy that might have a spinner up on top. A shaft would come down to a crown gear, and then that would rub on some teeth on one of the gears in there. So it's interesting that that wind-up device that they maybe purchased pre-built from Japan or China or something, and then retrofitted into this toy. They brought off a crank here which rubs against this feeler, and that's what supplies ground, because this whole frame is one side of the battery is ground up to the lights in the head, and the other side of the lights of the head come down here to this blue wire to the switch to give it positive. So every time that crank comes around and touches that wiper, that's what turns the lights on or off. And here's a view with the legs installed, so you can see kind of see how this all fits together and how the legs come up and reach the arm pins. So as the legs are gyrating, they have a pivot post that goes across here. So as they're moving, that's what makes the arms move a little bit. And they just crudely run the light wires right up inside the head, which is all glued together too. This is a close-up. It's the bottom of the head. It's pinned with a pin through and the wires that come down. It's the top of your wind-up mechanism. But what I mainly was trying to show here is that, and there's one over here. Those would have been the 3 little plastic posts that were meant to hold this whole wind-up mechanism in place. And when they assembled it, they would slip those over the posts and they'd hit them with a hot soldering iron and melt them down to a nub. And that's all that would hold it in when it was originally made. Here's the pivot bar that goes all the way across on the legs to get the pivot action going. Pull back view so you can get a little better view. Now that it's all been cut apart, again I used the card stock and glue a couple card stocks onto the insides with that picture you saw earlier of the goop and the E6000 type glues, because they're a rubber type glue and they can be removed. They won't damage the plastic. And once the toy is glued together, what you do is you'd run a sharp blade down here to cut through the card. Then you can get the back off, clean all the old cardboard and glue out, fix whatever you need to fix, and then put it back together the same way. It's the easiest way to get back inside these plastic toys without destroying anything, because if you hard glue them back together again, it could be really hard to get them apart the next time. And of course, beauty shots, we just saw a video of it, but showing the 3 lights which I managed to push back up into their proper locations. And I think that's about it. We're back to looking at where the batteries go in and the rear roller switch. These little metal bars catch on these tabs to lock the batteries in, and normally you would push them and then that swings forward. You don't need them. I mainly locked them just to keep them from dragging, because the batteries are wedged in there so frickin' tight, since it wasn't meant for modern batteries. You don't really need that. And again, it's just showing the switch. The wire for the lights comes down. It simply rotates over till it hits a contact on the positive side of that battery, and that's what supplies power up to the lights. So that would be today's vintage toy robot. Hope you enjoyed, and I think that's all.